Give me a little raise of your hand if you have thought, if only you could buy the right planner, you would be able to manage your time. Raise your hand if you thought, if only you could figure out the right diet, you'd be able to lose weight. If only you could figure out, I don't know, how to cut 10 minutes off your commute, you'd have more time in your life and your mornings wouldn't be so stressful, or some other thing. If only you could figure it out, then this would be better. I think we've all been there. And I got to tell you, there is no figuring out the way forward. There's only clarity of self to help you figure out what's going to work for you and relieve the stress, the tension, the pain that you may be feeling. And that's what we're going to talk about on this episode of Expedition to Soul. We know that you were born magical. We know that you are intuitive, and we know that you are brimming with everyday enchantment. Here at the Sisters Enchanted, we believe in intention, we believe in intuition, and we believe in everyday magic. Welcome in to the Expedition to Soul podcast. I'm Sarah, founder of the Sisters Enchanted, and clarity of self. Where is this topic coming from? Well, recording this is the new year, 2023. So welcome to a brand new year. And I see so often people making the declaration that this is the year they're going to do whatever. But in order to do that, they need to first find the exact right thing to make themselves do that. Now, if you don't know me, and if you're listening to this, you probably do, but I will tell you that I do a lot. I am the operator owner of the Sisters Enchanted, where we have thousands of people in our online community in different aspects. We have a team of upwards around 10 people now. Excuse me. We've generated millions of dollars in revenue with me at the helm. I'm a homeschool mom. I have plenty of time for trips. I spent 5 months cumulative in 2022 going to different places on the eastern half of the US. I exercise regularly. I eat good food. I go to the float tank. I read books. I watch movies. I have plenty of time for fun activities. And you might be thinking, Sarah, what do you know that I don't know? I don't know anything that you don't know. What I have is clarity of self. Clarity of self is the key to everything. If you don't know who you are, nothing that you do in the pursuit of figuring out the way forward is going to stick, is going to work, is going to help. That I can promise you. I know this not only from my lived experience, but in bringing people together for the last 6.5 years through the Sisters Enchanted. I have evidence of this over and over and over again. Now, clarity of self. How do we get to this clarity of self? Well, one, being intentional with what you want to feel. That is my top tip. Being intentional with how you want to feel. How do you want to feel? Are you living your life in alignment with how you want to feel? Is how you want to feel aligned with your truest values, or is it aligned with some external expectation, something else that somebody else wants from you, something you've been told that you should have or desire, how life should work, right? How it should look. Clarity of self will help you to understand what it is that you need to be successful. What I need to be successful is likely different than what other people need, but it's only through clarity of self that you can figure this out. You get clarity of self through being more intentional, and through being more intentional, who you are is eventually going to emerge. Now, this week, starting on January 6th, 2023, we are hosting a declutter challenge, we're calling it, over on Instagram. So you'll want to make sure to follow us there. But we're going to start with the mind garbage. We are going to start internally with your mind. And that's what we're going to declutter first. We're going to declutter we've got 5 different themes, topics we're going to go through over 15 days. There's 3 prompts for each. We are going to look at your physical environment, have no fear, but we're doing a lot of inner decluttering as well, because we really have to make space to hear who we are. Now, if you need evidence of how a predictable rhythm, how being intentional and having clarity in who you are and not being afraid to live in alignment with who you are, if you need evidence of how that works, just look around you. The earth once a year, right, puts itself to sleep. the earth dies. If you live in a place where you have 4 seasons, I live in Connecticut, we have 4 seasons. I just got to look out my window and see that the earth trusts itself enough to know that it has to go to sleep. It has to put everything to rest for a whole portion of the year in order to emerge into its most beautiful self once again. And it trusts itself to know that this is part of the process and that living the rhythm will create the space that it needs to flourish and to bloom because there's a clarity of self. I'm going to also relate this to tarot. So if you think about the Eight of Pentacles and you think about the Eight of Swords, for example, now the Swords is aligned with the energy of air and Pentacles with earth. Now air is wild. Air, wind, it's unpredictable, right? It comes through no matter what the season is, no matter what the weather is. That air can be dangerous, it can be slow, it can be the perfect breeze, it can be anything whatsoever. And it can wreak havoc on anything or it can provide relief, but it is unpredictable. Now, in tarot, the swords is associated with air, and this is your thoughts. It's your inner thoughts. And those thoughts can be unpredictable, right? And they can take what you think to be true and really muck everything up and leave you questioning everything that you know to be true and the way forward. Now, if we look at Pentacles, Pentacles is the earth suit, and we look at the earth. And as I said, the earth follows a predictable rhythm and it does not question itself. It does what it needs to do. Again, if you live somewhere where there are 4 seasons, every winter, the leaves fall, the flowers die, everything returns to the earth. And with confidence, the earth does this knowing that it's going to bloom again in just a few months. And when we look at the suit of Pentacles in tarot, it is the one suit that isn't particularly jarring. And when we look at the Eight of Pentacles, there is a person who's just working away at what they need to work away at, right? They're not confined. They're just doing their thing. The Eight of Swords, that person is trapped. That person is trapped in a cage of swords. They're bound up. And this is the steadfastness that comes with clarity of self. The earth is clear. Earth is clear in what it's there for. Earth is clear in its rhythm. It is intentional in design. It intentionally goes to sleep so that it can bloom again and get exactly what it needs and survive the cold temperatures that come during this season. It has clarity of self. Wind, air, while the elements they have their purpose, right? But it's random. It does different things at different times. It can whip up, it can slow down at any time of the year whatsoever. And the same happens with our thoughts. So when we can tap into that energy of rhythm, of knowing, of clarity, of trusting to ourselves, knowing who we are, things feel easier. The space to do what needs to be done emerges. You don't have to find it. It simply emerges. And that comes through clarity of self. So as we roll into January here, thinking about that clarity of self, and why is it so hard to find that clarity of self? Well, we live in a world where we have infinite possibilities. We can be anything, do anything, learn anything. We can travel, we can stay home, we could eat any kind of food. We have access to TV and movies and radio and, entertainment all the time. And that's overwhelming. It's very overwhelming. And if you aren't clear with who you are, it becomes challenging to untangle yourself from possibility of what could be versus what you actually desire, what you actually want to feel, what is actually meaningful to you. And that's why the practices, the sacred things we do here at the Sisters Enchanted, working with tarot, the moon, candles, writing a spell, using your mind and your words to cast into being the thing that you want. We do all of this because it cultivates a connection with self, not because we think that doing this is going to, poof, create the thing that we want. That'd be awesome. And then alas, we know that doesn't work that way. It is a practice in knowing and trusting and slowing down and being present and having kind of that earth connected, trusting, rhythmic energy. That's why we do what we do here, combined with all of this beautiful growth work like decluttering your mind that we're going to begin later this week for our declutter challenge on Instagram. So think about this clarity of self. It's hard to come to because we're pulled in a million directions. It's hard to be clear on who you are because if you don't do the things that you want to do, you feel like you're missing out. You feel like you're failing. You feel like you're failing other people. And this is actually a topic we're bringing to our mastermind this weekend. So if you've been interested in joining that, now's a good time to to get in there because we're bringing this up in conversation. So sneak peek to those of you that are in there and listening to this. The clarity of self. So as you roll into January, don't set those resolutions. I don't want you setting resolutions. Think about how you want to feel. And then think about your clarity of self. How much do you know yourself? How well do you know yourself? Who are you? Truly, who are you? What are your values? And those are hard questions to answer. They are challenging for a myriad of reasons. And that is typical for it to be challenging. But let me tell you, there is not something that somebody else, there's not a secret, there is not a key. There is clarity of self. That is the way forward. I can do the things that I do because I have clarity of self. And that's getting clearer all the time. Sometimes it gets muddled up and I got to dust it back off again. And I got to remember what are my values? Who am I? How do I want to feel? And I got to come back to the very things that I talk about. And if you need that reminder too, think about that swords versus pentacles in tarot. If you're a tarot reader, the pentacles, earth, it is rhythmic. It's slow and steady. It grows. It trusts. The swords, they're unpredictable. That is unpredictable energy. And there is not a clarity of self there. And that's what's leading to that unpredictableness when we think about just how we interact with those elements as well. We can look outside and it's predictable that winter is going to come. The trees are going to shed. They are going to bloom again. The wind, it is unpredictable. It can sweep up, sneak up on you at any moment of the day. And that rhythm, that clarity of self, that trust, that foundation, that steadfastness that comes with that, it's a game changer. All right. So I mentioned our declutter challenge. Make sure you follow us on Instagram for that. It starts January 6th, and it's going to roll until about January 20th. There is a link in our Instagram profile if you want to go there and register to get the declutter debrief. What that is I'll be taking the posts and any videos, and I'll link them up on a living document for you so that you can easily reference it whenever you want to. If you want that, the link is in our Instagram bio. You just go there, fill it out, and it's a living document. So we'll update it as the challenge goes on with any of the relevant information, links, and keep it all in a nice, tidy place for you. Otherwise, you can follow along right on Instagram. If you are interested in getting support on any of this, this is what we are good at doing in our small group mastermind. Reach out. We can get you information on that. We'd love to have you. You can answer any questions that you have about registering for that. But, it's your year to find that clarity. It's always been your year. Claim it. Claim it right now. All right. I hope that y'all have an enchanted rest of your day ahead. Bye.